Yeah, so that leads brilliantly onto my next question,
Fantastic.
which is, do you still believe that the UK is a leader in climate related policy? And do you think the government's actions suggest that very statement? Does the government's actions and the rhetoric the government puts out on the same levels? Because the government like to say that they are leaders in. So as a representative of the Young Greens, do you believe that the government is doing enough?
No.
And or what they're saying, from what they're saying, is it equal?
That's the shortest answer you'll probably get.
No.
No. And it's not. And partly it's because like you have the North Sea gas expansions a while ago. That's old news now. And even though people say it's better for us to source it domestically rather than import it from abroad, and you have the whole thing about carbon capture and storage schemes, which I think I talked about last time as well, which like are an unproven technology effectively. I think symbolic gestures are an important part of politics, especially if you're Rishi Sunak and you want to be seen as a world leader in this sort of thing. And again, like you are still doing some good just by not expanding North Sea gas. So again, but I can understand he's got a lot on his plate at the moment. There's a lot of stuff going on. The Conservatives Party have probably considered that they're going to lose the next election no matter what. So it's just a case of
damage control.
Damage control. A more cynical person might say they're going to make it as difficult as they can for Starmer in the few months they have remaining to them while they're still in power. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be very difficult if Sunak to turn that legacy around very quickly. Especially considering like the stuff he's gone through. So we've had the small boats week, we've had the NHS week. If we have a climate change week, God knows what's going to happen. So small boats week, we have the record number of arrivals in 24 hours in immigration history. Mm-hmm. For the NHS week, we've got record waiting numbers. So for climate change week, Parliament bursts into flames.
Record temperatures.
But no, yeah. So it will be... Again, like ask me again, like in 6 months when hopefully we have a new government. Hopefully.
Green government?
I can't be that optimistic, sadly.
But I think just to bring it back to Rishi Sunak, we all saw on the news about Greenpeace going into his mansion and kind of displaying a black banner across his house, like going onto his property and putting
trespassing
onto the Prime Minister's residence.
Yeah.
Does the Young Greens or the Green Party kind of support this act?
I don't feel like I can speak for the Green Party because
the Young Greens.
For the society. I mean, we haven't discussed it internally, but personally, that I would rather see that sort of action more than stabbing people's car tires. But you're directly talking to the people responsible, and you have the power to make the sort of change you want to see. And like trespassing, like is a victimless crime, isn't it? Like in this case, it was.
But it's a bad precedent. I would say it's a bad precedent for activists or protesters to go to an elected. I mean, we've seen in the past how dangerous life as an MP can be with people trying to murder you.
Yeah, Joe Cox and the like.
Cox.
You're absolutely right. We should security should be very serious. But Greenpeace are and you do have the risk of militant activists infiltrating peaceful activist groups. But Greenpeace are a very well-established peaceful protest group. They disrupted protests, but effectively peaceful. And like I said, with any sort of effective or meaningful protest, it's very difficult to pull off without either breaking the law or annoying people or breaking some sort of norm or endangering people. And again, I don't want to be one of those ends justify the means person because the points you've read are absolutely valid. But I don't think was he home at the time?
He wasn't home at the time.
He wasn't home at the time.
But is the principle the same?
Yeah, and was it Downing Street, one of his mansions in the country?
It was in his mansion in North Yorkshire.
I mean, in that case, then, if it's one of his many homes, our Prime Minister is a very, very wealthy man, especially considering the housing crisis we have at the moment. I can't condemn it. Basically,
okay.
Maybe we should leave that. I cannot condemn it.
No, that's okay. No, fair enough. You stick to your
No,
guns.
apologies if that's not a very satisfying answer, but I don't want to say...
There is no such thing as a satisfying
no,
answer.
I don't want to say breaking the law is good, but it just feels quite satisfying to see that sort of stuff happen. So, well done, Greenpeace.
Well done. Okay, I condemn it.
Okay, yeah, very well, yeah.
But that's
agree to
okay.
disagree, yeah, that's fine.
Agree to disagree.
Yeah,
I think
I completely get that.
I think it's a bad precedent, and it kind of sets up and justifies any future action on certain politicians' houses, no matter where we agree on where on the political aisle they are and how we disagree. I don't think those kind of actions, which could potentially endanger, not this time, but in the future, it could potentially endanger.
I remember after the Supreme Court struck down Roe versus Wade in America. This is slightly a tangent, but I'll be quick. All the Conservative justices, their addresses were leaked online. They were doxed basically, so people go up to the House and protest them. And so even though they are not elected in the same way other politicians are, you have the argument made that they are public figures, they are public servants, they should be held accountable to their decisions, if not at the ballot box, then by direct protest by the electorate. And I think doxing people is a bit of a it's a bit of a no in most occasions, but I can see the validity behind that point. And I don't think anyone was harmed. You just have people turning up and holding banners.
Mm-hmm. I think we're very clear in both. We have to agree to disagree.
Yeah, but again, I completely understand why anyone would oppose that.